The galaxy had always watched humanity with a mix of fear and curiosity. They were different from the other species. Unpredictable. Dangerous, yet full of untapped potential. The galaxy's oldest civilizations had debated for centuries about what to do with this wild species. For now, they had come to a decision: humanity would be a controlled threat. On Earth, the idea that they were being observed was laughable. Humans were too busy with their daily lives, technology, and the chaos of politics to notice the truth. They had no idea that the galaxy had been watching their every move for generations. It wasn't out of kindness. No, the reason was much darker. Humanity had the power to destroy worlds, and that made them dangerous. But at the same time, they had the power to save the galaxy. That was the gamble. It all began on Earth in the year 2218, when a brilliant scientist named Dr. Alice Winters stumbled upon a discovery that would change everything. She was working late at the Lunar Research Station, a facility established to study alien relics hidden on the moon's surface. It was a routine project until one day, while analyzing some ancient data, she found something strange, an unknown signal, buried deep in the patterns of a long-forgotten alien network. She followed the signal's trail. Her heart raced. It was more than just a signal, it was a message. A warning. The message was clear: we are watching. It wasn't just an alien race sending a message, it was from an entire network of civilizations. And the message was directed at Earth, at humanity. Alice felt the weight of those words settle deep in her chest. Her mind raced with questions. Who were we? Why were they watching Earth? And why now? Her curiosity was unstoppable, but the answer she found only made things worse. The message was part of a much larger network of surveillance systems scattered throughout the galaxy, put in place by an ancient coalition of species. For centuries, Earth had been kept under observation. The galaxy's leaders didn't trust humanity to grow unchecked. They had seen the potential for destruction in humanity's wars, weapons, and greed. If humans were left to grow too powerful, they could easily disrupt the balance of the entire galaxy. But the coalition also saw something else. A glimmer of hope. Despite their flaws, humans had an amazing ability to innovate, to adapt, and to survive. They were unpredictable, yes, but there was something in their DNA that made them different from the other species of the galaxy. The humans could be a force of change if they could be guided in the right direction. Dr. Winters knew she had uncovered something dangerous. She wasn't sure if anyone would believe her or if she should even tell anyone at all. The message had come with a warning: do not provoke us. But how could she stay silent? The truth was too big to ignore. The galaxy had its eye on humanity, and now Alice was caught in the middle of something she couldn't escape. As Alice reached out to her colleagues, she discovered that they too had noticed strange events happening all over the planet. Scientists were finding their research sabotaged, military equipment malfunctioned in ways that didn't make sense, and entire data files were mysteriously wiped. It wasn't just a coincidence. Something was controlling them. Something was making sure humanity didn't rise too quickly. The stakes were higher than Alice had imagined. The deeper she dug, the clearer it became: humanity wasn't free. They were being watched, manipulated, and controlled. The more they advanced, the more subtle barriers were placed in their path. Human leaders were too busy with politics to notice, but those with the power to see the bigger picture knew the truth. Humanity had been given a dangerous gift, a way to unlock unimaginable power. But that power had to be controlled. If it wasn't, the galaxy might not survive. One night, Alice received a message, this time from an unknown source, a voice that claimed to be from one of the oldest and most powerful species in the galaxy. The voice was calm, almost reassuring. We have allowed you to grow, but we will not allow you to destroy. Alice's blood ran cold. The voice continued. You have two choices: follow the path we've set for you, or face the consequences. Humanity is a threat, yes, but you are also the galaxy's last hope. Be careful how you proceed. With that, the transmission cut off. Now Alice had to decide. The truth was out there, but what could she do with it? If she revealed everything, would humanity fight back against their unseen guardians? Or would they destroy themselves, trying to gain control of the very power that had been carefully hidden from them? The galaxy had given humanity a path, and so far, they had followed it blindly. But if humanity knew the full truth, would they be able to accept it? The uncertainty weighed heavily on Alice's shoulders. The more she uncovered, the clearer it became. Humanity's rise was not a matter of if, but when. The question was whether the galaxy would allow them to rise on their own terms, or if they would be crushed under the weight of their potential. A sudden realization hit her: if humanity's potential was left unchecked, the entire galaxy could be in danger. But if humanity were kept in control forever, the galaxy had chosen to keep humanity a controlled threat for now, but the time was fast approaching when that control would slip. And when it did, no one knew what would happen next. Earth had always seemed like just another small planet in the vastness of the universe, but it was far from ordinary. To the galaxy's most powerful civilizations, Earth was more than a planet, it was a secret. A secret so dangerous that it was locked away from the eyes of the universe. But no one on Earth knew this truth. The truth that Earth was, in fact, a prison. And humanity? Humanity was the prisoner. In the year 2220, a young soldier named Nathan Hayes was sent on a routine mission, a simple reconnaissance mission on a distant moon. But it turned out to be anything but routine. During his mission, Nathan discovered something strange. While scanning the surface, he picked up an unusual signal hidden deep within the moon's core. It wasn't a natural signal, nor was it anything humanity had ever created. The signal was different. Curious, Nathan decided to investigate further. He descended into an ancient cavern that seemed to have been untouched for centuries. There, amidst the dark rock, he found a series of metallic symbols that seemed to pulse with an unnatural energy. His heart raced as he realized what he had discovered: an alien artifact, one that was ancient and far beyond anything humanity had ever encountered. As he reached out to touch it, a strange voice filled his mind, one that sounded almost familiar but completely foreign. The voice was cold, emotionless, but its words were clear. Humanity is not free. Earth is a prison. Your species is controlled. The universe fears you. Nathan froze, his mind reeling. The message was simple, but it was terrifying. The voice continued: your planet is not a haven for you. It is a prison to keep your kind contained. You are a weapon, a ticking bomb. And you must never leave. If you do, the galaxy will burn. Nathan's breath caught in his throat. He couldn't believe it. Was this some kind of test, a trap set by an enemy? But the voice was too calm, too certain, and the message was too clear. Earth was not just a planet, it was a holding cell. Humanity, it seemed, was a dangerous species. The galaxy feared them. He quickly returned to his ship, his hands shaking as he tried to make sense of what he had just learned. But the more he thought about it, the more questions filled his mind. Why was Earth isolated? Why had humanity been kept in the dark all this time? And who had placed them here? Back on Earth, Nathan shared his discovery with his superiors. At first, they dismissed it as a malfunction. But the more Nathan pushed, the more they seemed to avoid his questions. He started noticing strange behavior among his colleagues, secret meetings, whispers in the corridors, and a sense of unease that hung over everyone. It wasn't long before Nathan realized the truth. The government, the leaders of humanity, knew exactly what Earth was. They knew that Earth was a prison, and they had known for centuries. The galaxy had imposed a strict rule: humanity could never be allowed to leave. They were too dangerous. Their potential for destruction was unmatched, and if they ever broke free, the entire universe could be at risk. Nathan's world shattered. The truth was darker than he could have imagined. Humanity wasn't just an innocent species on a tiny planet. They were a threat, a weapon of unimaginable power, locked away for the safety of everyone else. The galaxy had placed Earth in isolation, hidden behind a veil of silence and secrecy, so that no one would ever know about their existence. But why had no one told them? Why had they been kept in the dark for so long? As Nathan dug deeper, he began to uncover hidden documents and secret files, evidence that Earth's leaders had been working with alien powers to maintain humanity's imprisonment. The truth was clear: humanity had been allowed to grow, but only within the confines of Earth. Every war, every conflict, every disaster on the planet had been subtly influenced, all to ensure that humanity didn't break free of their chains. Then, as if things couldn't get worse, Nathan received another message, this time from a source he couldn't trace. The message was short, but it sent a chill down his spine. "The time has come. You cannot remain on Earth. The galaxy is already watching." Nathan's mind raced. The message made it clear: someone knew what he had discovered. Someone was watching him, and that meant the secret was out. The truth about Earth and humanity was no longer hidden. His heart pounded as he realized the magnitude of the situation. Humanity was not ready for what was coming. If the galaxy's civilizations had truly been keeping them contained, then what would happen if they found out that humanity was breaking free? What if they wanted to stop them? The truth was simple: humanity was more dangerous than anyone realized. They were more powerful, more unpredictable, and more capable of destruction than the galaxy had ever expected. And now that the truth was out, there was no going back. Nathan knew he had to make a choice. He could either stay silent, keep this secret buried, and live the rest of his life in ignorance. Or he could expose the truth, face the consequences, and risk everything. The galaxy had made its decision long ago. Earth had been placed in isolation for a reason. Humanity was too much of a threat to be left to roam free. And now, with the truth finally in his hands, Nathan had to decide whether humanity would remain a prisoner forever or if they would rise up and break free. Humanity had always wondered about the stars. They dreamed of reaching them, exploring the unknown, and maybe even finding other life out there. But what if those stars were not just far-off lights in the sky? What if they had been watching Earth for much longer than anyone knew? In 2225, Dr. Lena Carter, an astrophysicist working at a top-secret research facility on Mars, made a discovery that no one could have ever predicted. While analyzing strange energy readings from deep space, she found something that didn't belong. It wasn't a star or a planet. It was a signal, far more advanced than anything humanity had ever sent out. The signal came from an unknown source, but it was unmistakably directed at Earth. At first, Lena thought it might be a fluke, a mistake. But as she ran more tests, the signal became clearer, more defined. This wasn't a random signal, it was a message. A message that carried with it a chilling truth: humanity was not alone, and they were being watched. The message came in short bursts, and although the language was unknown, Lena's advanced translation algorithms began to piece it together. The message was direct: "We are watching you, humans. We have been for centuries. You are not as free as you think." The words echoed in her mind, sending a cold shiver down her spine. Who were we? And why had they been watching Earth for so long? She couldn't understand it. If someone was watching them, why hadn't they made contact? Why keep humanity in the dark? Lena couldn't stop herself. She had to know more. Late into the night, she scoured every piece of data, every signal fragment, every trace. Then, the message came again, this time louder and clearer. "The Watchers have observed you. Your species is dangerous, unpredictable, but you are also capable of extraordinary things. We have shaped your history, guided your evolution. You are our experiment, but the time to decide is near. Will you choose the path of peace, or will you destroy yourselves?" The words hit Lena like a punch to the gut. Her thoughts raced. Humanity? An experiment? Shaped by these unknown watchers? Who were they, and why had they intervened in humanity's development? The next day, Lena shared her findings with her team. Her discovery sent shockwaves through the scientific community. For years, humanity had looked up to the stars, hoping for contact. But no one had ever imagined that there were beings out there who'd been shaping humanity's fate from the shadows. As the days passed, Lena learned more. The Watchers had not only been observing Earth, they had subtly manipulated humanity's progress. Every major war, every peace treaty, every scientific breakthrough, it was all part of a plan. a plan to see if humanity could rise above its flaws or if it would fall into destruction. The Watchers had guided humanity, but they had also kept them under control. But why? Why keep humanity in check? Why not let humans choose their own fate? Lena found herself on a dangerous path. The more she uncovered, the more she realized that the Watchers were not some distant race, they were everywhere. Their influence had been felt throughout human history. Governments, military powers, and scientific institutions, they all had ties to the Watchers. They were the hidden hand behind humanity's rise and fall. As Lena dug deeper, she discovered a disturbing truth. The Watchers were preparing to leave. They had watched humanity long enough. Soon, they would withdraw, and humanity would be left to fend for itself. The decision was clear. Humanity had to prove it was worthy of the galaxy's trust, or it would face annihilation. The pressure was building. Lena realized that the Watchers were not just guardians, they were judges. And their judgment would soon come. If humanity had learned enough, if they had grown strong enough, they might be allowed to live. But if not, they would be left to destroy themselves. Lena was torn. She knew the truth now, but what could she do with it? If she revealed the Watchers to the world, would humanity rise to the challenge, or would they crumble under the weight of the knowledge? Would they fight back against their unseen creators, or would they accept their fate and try to prove they were ready? One evening, as Lena sat alone in her lab, the message came again, this time in a more urgent tone. Time is running out, Lena Carter. The Watchers are leaving. Your species must choose. Can you survive on your own? Or will you fall like the others? The words echoed in her mind, and for the first time, Lena understood the true stakes. The Watchers had shaped humanity, but now the galaxy was watching, waiting. The moment of truth had arrived. Lena made her decision. She would reveal the truth. Humanity needed to know what was at stake. They had to understand the power they had been given and the responsibility that came with it. But as she prepared to release the information, she couldn't shake the feeling that the Watchers were still watching, waiting for her next move. In that moment, Lena realized the greatest truth of all: humanity's future wasn't just in their hands, it was in the hands of the Watchers. They had shaped the path, but now it was up to humanity to decide whether they would rise or fall. The Watchers had observed humanity for centuries, but their final judgment was near. Would humanity prove themselves worthy of the galaxy's trust? Or would they, like so many species before them, fall into destruction? Lena didn't know. But one thing was certain: humanity was about to face its greatest test. For centuries, humanity believed they were the masters of their own fate. They had evolved from primitive beings, developed civilizations, and reached the stars. But as 2225 approached, everything that humanity had known began to unravel. Dr. Evan Hayes, a renowned geneticist, would be the one to discover the truth, one that would shatter everything humans believed about themselves. It started innocently enough. Dr. Hayes had been leading a research project on the genetic makeup of humans, specifically focused on how humans had adapted to various environments over the millennia. He and his team were mapping out the DNA of ancient humans when they stumbled upon something unusual. Buried deep in the genetic code, hidden beneath layers of evolution, they found an anomaly, a series of patterns that didn't belong. At first, they thought it was a mistake, perhaps a corrupted file or a genetic mutation. But as they ran more tests, the anomaly only became clearer. The patterns weren't random. They were too precise, too structured. It was as if someone or something had deliberately designed humanity's evolution. The discovery stunned Dr. Hayes. What did this mean? Were humans not the result of natural selection and random chance? Had their evolution been controlled all along? He decided to dig deeper, spending sleepless nights trying to understand the mysterious code. As he did, something even stranger began to happen. The more he uncovered, the more he felt like he was being watched. At first, it was subtle, strange emails with encrypted messages, classified files that seemed to appear on his desk out of nowhere. But soon, it became impossible to ignore. Then came the warning. One night, while analyzing a particularly complex strand of genetic code, Dr. Hayes received a transmission. The message was brief, but it sent a chill down his spine. You are getting too close, Dr. Hayes. The truth is not for you to know. He tried to ignore it, but the message only fueled his determination. He had to know the truth. Humanity's very existence depended on it.as he continued his research. He discovered that this genetic manipulation wasn't just a theory, it was a fact. For thousands of years, someone or something had been controlling humanity's evolution. From the very first human ancestors to the present day, every leap forward, every sudden burst of intelligence or innovation had been carefully guided. The human race had been subjected to an intricate experiment, manipulated by an unknown force, hidden from their knowledge. The more Dr. Hayes learned, the clearer it became. Humanity's greatest achievements, space exploration, advanced technology, medical breakthroughs, weren't purely the result of human effort. They'd been nudged along by something, someone who had been watching, guiding, and controlling them. But why? Who was behind this manipulation? And what did they want from humanity? As Dr. Hayes pieced together more fragments of evidence, he stumbled upon a file labeled Project Genesis. It detailed a secret operation that had been underway for centuries. The project was a genetic experiment. Its goal was to create a species capable of surviving in the harshest corners of the universe, one that could adapt to any environment and overcome any challenge. Humanity, it seemed, was being groomed for something much larger than anyone could imagine. The files revealed that an ancient race, known only as the Overseers, had begun manipulating human genetics long before recorded history. The Overseers had observed countless species across the galaxy, but none had ever shown the same adaptability, the same potential for growth as humanity. They had seen what humans were capable of and decided to accelerate their development, pushing them forward with every new discovery, every technological leap. Dr. Hayes couldn't believe it. The Overseers had been shaping humanity's destiny from the shadows, altering their genetic makeup to create the perfect species, one that could thrive in any environment, one that could dominate the universe. But as he read on, he found something even more disturbing. The Overseers had not just been guiding humanity, they had been controlling them, preventing them from reaching their true potential. Every time humanity came close to unlocking their true power, the Overseers had intervened, ensuring that they stayed within certain limits. The genetic anomaly Dr. Hayes had discovered was not a mistake, it was a failsafe. It was a mechanism designed to prevent humanity from ever fully realizing their capabilities. The Overseers had set boundaries, limits on how far humanity could go, and if those limits were ever breached, they would step in and correct it. Was a chilling thought. Humanity had been a controlled experiment, their evolution carefully manipulated for a purpose they didn't understand. And now, Dr. Hayes realized the Overseers were getting ready to end the experiment. They had seen enough. Humanity had reached its peak. The next stage of their evolution was up to them, and the Overseers were no longer willing to interfere. Dr. Hayes felt the weight of the revelation on his shoulders. He had uncovered the truth, but now the real question was what to do with it. Should he expose everything to the world, revealing the truth about humanity's manipulated evolution? Or should he keep quiet, knowing that doing so might prevent chaos from erupting? The decision wasn't easy. Humanity had been given everything they needed to succeed, yet they had never truly been free. Their potential had been carefully controlled, never fully realized. The truth was that humanity had been living in a cage, with the Overseers acting as both their creators and their wardens. As the days passed, Dr. Hayes realized that the final stage of the experiment was coming to a head. Humanity had reached a crossroads. Would they accept their fate and continue to live under the Overseers' watchful eye? Or would they break free, embracing their true potential no matter the cost? He had no answers, only questions. But one thing was certain, humanity's secret had been revealed. And now, the world would have to decide what to do with it. The stars had always seemed so far away, unreachable to the human race. But now, in 2231, humanity was ready to take its first steps beyond the solar system. After decades of technological advances, humans had finally developed the means to explore the vastness of the galaxy. But they didn't know that their bold leap into the unknown was about to trigger a gamble that could shape the fate of their entire species. Captain Jonah Blake stood on the bridge of the Artemis, the first human ship to venture beyond the Milky Way. His crew had trained for years, preparing for this historic mission. Their goal was simple: explore the distant star systems in the Andromeda Galaxy, make contact with new civilizations, and secure humanity's place among the stars. But as Blake stared out into the endless black void, he couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. "We're entering uncharted space," his second-in-command, Lieutenant Rachel Sykes, said, her voice steady but tinged with unease. "We've crossed the boundary. There's no turning back now." Blake nodded, but deep down, he had doubts. The galaxy was vast and mysterious, full of wonders and dangers they couldn't even imagine. And what if they weren't the first to explore? What if someone or something had been waiting for them? The ship's AI Athena chimed in, breaking the silence. "Captain, we've detected an anomaly ahead. A large energy signature. It appears artificial." Blake's eyes widened. Artificial? Out here, so far from Earth? He ordered the crew to prepare for potential contact, even though he didn't fully know what they were getting into. The Artemis moved closer to the source of the anomaly, a faint glowing object in the distance. As they approached, the object slowly took shape, an enormous structure, floating in the emptiness of space. It was unlike anything the crew had ever seen, a massive station, built with advanced materials and powered by a technology far beyond human capabilities. "Captain, we're picking up a transmission," Lieutenant Sykes reported. "It's in a language we don't recognize, but it's directed at us." Blake's heart raced. They weren't alone. But who had built this station? And why? The answers lay beyond the station's walls, and they had to find out. The Artemis docked with the station, and the crew made their way into the dark, silent halls. The place was abandoned, at least. It appeared to be. The walls were covered in strange symbols, and there was an eerie stillness in the air, as if the structure had been deserted for centuries. But Blake wasn't fooled. Something was watching them. He could feel it.as. They explored deeper. They found a room unlike any they had seen before. In the center of the room was a glowing orb, pulsating with energy. Blake felt a strange pull toward it. "This is it," he whispered. "This is what they've been waiting for." Athena suddenly interrupted. "Captain, I've analyzed the station's data. This orb is a relic, an artifact from a long-extinct civilization. The data suggests it was part of an ancient game played by the galaxy's most powerful species." "A game?" Blake asked, confused. "What do you mean?" Athena explained, her voice calm but unsettling. "The galaxy's most advanced civilizations, including the Overseers, once engaged in a great gamble. The game was a test of intelligence, resourcefulness, and strategy. The stakes were high. The winning species would control the galaxy's fate. The losing species were erased." Blake's mind raced. The galaxy had been shaped by a deadly game, a gamble between the universe's most powerful species. And now, humanity had unknowingly stumbled into it. The stakes were terrifying. If they were chosen to participate, they could gain unimaginable power or face extinction. Suddenly, the orb flared brightly, and the room came alive. Holographic images appeared depicting the galaxy's most powerful species. There were beings made of energy, creatures that seemed to control the fabric of space itself, and ancient races that had long since disappeared. The game had begun. "The rules are simple," Athena explained, her voice now urgent. "Each species must make a choice. They must select a representative, a champion, who will compete in the game. The winner gains control over the galaxy. The losers